Hey guys, welcome to this video and looking at price action today and kind of evaluate that 15-minute chart. Also look at kind of where we're at and what was kind of important for today. I do want to show you what happened in the last rolling 7 days or so from last week to kind of give an idea of what we kind of fell in today, which is pretty cool actually. We did find a pretty solid support area. We kind of tested that main area from the last week. And really, the higher time frames, that 4 hour, 1 hour, those kind of time frames are resetting. So I kind of want to take a look at that kind of stuff today. And really, we have kind of some cool things that I want to point out on the chart of potential of looking at taking trades even on days like today. So let's go ahead and get into the charts and point some of the stuff out for you and not spend too much time on this. But hopefully it'll help you improve your eye in when it comes to getting to that prize, right? Of taking the trading opportunity and putting capital in your pocket. So you can see that here is the open of the day. And I do have some lines on here right now that you can see that I drew on the white. And then you have a lot of this, you could call it noise in the background if you didn't understand like what it is. But these levels that we have drawn on the chart are all your daily support and resistance levels, our breakout triggers, that kind of stuff, that what we're looking at. And really today, your daily support was pretty tight to your daily breakout or breakout trigger. Your daily breakout were up here, and daily resistance is up there as well. So you can see that there was some liquidity built down in this lower area. We did come down and get this lower liquidity here, but a lot of this liquidity is sitting right here. And to be honest, if it breaks through this area, it's going to take off a little bit. And that's kind of what we're watching. So we did have this run up that we watched Monday morning. It did come up and absorb a lot, and then it traded sideways. You would have expected this to break out. Now, the higher time frame still wanted to reset. So that's hey, you have to wait. And one thing we didn't see, which is good, is right here you see this area up here, and then right here this was a lower area. So that's actually a better thing. We didn't see it snap out, come up and get this higher, go up higher than this other back here. Let me move that out of the way. So you can see it went up higher here than it did here. A plus thing is just really just kind of telling you, well, this could fall down, but what I didn't really want to see is have it snap up and then come on down. That definitely would have said, oops, there goes the bears, or there goes the bulls, here comes the bears. We did see a nice sell-off today, and came through our daily breakdown, our breakdown trigger on this purple line, and then we got this run. But let's go ahead and dig into this a little more, because I was talking about stuff from last week. The way our indicator is built, it's analyzing every single day. So today's Tuesday, so obviously we took the data out of Tuesday and put in today's data, and then it's analyzing the confluences of lines, these major daily support and resistance that we put on every single day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are all looked at, and it's analyzing the three lines that are the closest with a 0.2%. So when that happens, it kind of gives you a grid pattern. You can see that this is kind of that grid pattern. So the lines are somewhere in here. Then you have another set or here as well. So it's kind of amazing, right? That it came straight down into that last 7 days, basically, of daily support and resistance. Well, it did come through and take out the lower area, which is great. And then it started to run back up. You can see how it interacts actually in these areas. Not a surprise, right? It's actually analyzing all that data in the past for you to kind of tell you where that support and resistance is. Came through, bounced in this area, came through, came down and wicked on it. As it fought through these areas, you can see how it interacts. That's what I'm pointing out. Same thing when it ran back up, came to the top, bounced down, took the bottom, run up. These are all areas that you can trade in, actually. If you're watching the behavior, this whole behavior today actually gave you multi-trades if you're going to really get into this. This was an area of back test that you could have looking at getting into and build this trade. You definitely would want to take it down in this lower area. This definitely would want to run back up to the original breakout. So there was a small trade you could have taken. This was a small trade you could have taken for the breakdown. Could have been saying, hey, I'm just going to take this area. You did have a target 3 down here that you could have taken. based on our measured levels. You could have taken a trade here as well. Let's go ahead and break into that trade because that really is the simple one to follow with the system that we trade. And you could have made capital regardless. So like the way I look at it is every single trade is a business. And if you're going to dig into this a little bit is, I know people have kind of argued this or talked about it. One thing I want to point out when I say every trade is a business is because it's no different than if you're going to buy product to sell or go out and do a service. So let's relate it to trading, right? So it makes sense. So I am going to go out and do a service on somebody's house. I walk in there and I go to start working on the plumbing. Something simple. They're going to pay me for it. I know I'm going to make about $1,000 profit on the job. So I take the job. That's no different than you taking the trade. You already know about what you're going to make. The same thing with the trade. You already know where your targets are. You've set them up. You go ahead and start working on the job, and the pipe breaks on you and sprays right into the outlets, shorts out the outlets, gets the plaster, everything on the walls damaged. You finally get the water fixed because you're a plumber. Everything's done. But now you have to fix that person's house. You got to have an electrician come out, have somebody work on the drywall. You get it all fixed, and it ends up costing you an extra $5,000 to get this house fixed. That's no different than you taking a trade. You know all the setup. You get in high probability of getting that trade in your favor. That's why you want to have a system. And no different than the guy that's going to go out and do plumbing work. He knows what he's going to make on the job when the customer pays for it because he knows what it takes to do that job. He thought he was going to make $1,000. Oops, something happened out of his control, right? The pipe broke when he was working on it, sprayed all the stuff. Ends up costing him $5,000. It's no different than when you take a trade, right? High probability, everything looks set up. You get into it, and then from there, it goes up against you, and you take a full loss. Does that mean that you quit? You give up? That's high risk. That's gambling. Well, then you're basically saying that like the plumber is gambling as well, then, right? Because he doesn't know what the variables are either. He's controlling the system and what he's building, and you're doing that in trading as well. The other thing is, though, it works in the favor too, right? Every single day he makes $1,000. Well, really, he's going to have to make at least 5 more jobs in order to pay for that loss in the end. And that's the problem with traders. They get fixated in this area. Really, that plumber is just, they're not going to get fixated in that $5,000 loss. I mean, they know it's a problem, but they're going to look at it, over the month I made $20,000. Yeah, but I had to pay out for that $5,000. So, I made $15,000. They're just going to look at, that's what they're going to go look at on their profit and loss statement that month is I made $15,000. They're not going to get into the weeds of it if everything's being paid for and everything is working, because that is a cost of business. That's what happens. So that's the same thing with trading. You need to be thinking that way too. And that's why I want to dig into this with that long-winded example. Hopefully you can sink your teeth into it though, because you really need to treat your trading as a business and think of it that way as well. And the reason why I'm zooming this in is because we're looking at this trade right here. This is the guy that steps in, takes action, gets his $1,000 idea and moves on and goes and fixes the next house. So we're getting into this trade here. I'm putting the stop above the Predator high candle. Basically, it's above this 9:30 Eastern Standard Time New York Stock Exchange open candle. That's what this is for. It prints for 15 minutes. That's why it has a lot of energy in it. Now we couldn't do anything on that candle, but it's this candle we could take a look at. We're waiting for this candle to close. It does. Then we go ahead and put our trade in exactly the way I have it set up. You can see it wicks up. It would fill your order right here. And then it breaks down. Well, you already know the targets because if you follow the system, there is your targets that you can match between the triggers. And then we went ahead and put in the target 1, target 2. Now you could have grabbed target 1 and called it a day, right? There you go. It's still 1.21. If you put $1,000 on the market, it cost you $1,000 to get to the job, material and everything. Going back to that plumber example, that's kind of what you're doing. You're risking your reward or whatever in an employee. You expect him to do that job in that van, all that cost to get everything where it needs to go. That's kind of what you're doing here. That's your investment, right? So say you put $1,000 on here, whatever, times the 1.21 is $1,210. is what you could have made on that trade. You could have also looked at this and said, okay, well, I know this is last week's liquidity area, so I'm going to go ahead. I could drop it down to target 2, but I know this could be also a break point, so it could wick through here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in a little bit past here. Obviously, you can see this wick down. Now, the reason why I'm saying don't try to grab it and run it all the way down like you can see it did here, because look how long we're investing, or how long we're working on the job. So you can say I'm working on the job. I guess you could add this time in, right? Because you're monitoring the charts. But let's just look at it, and when you take action on a trade. So you took action here, so you're waiting 1, 2, 3, fourth candle takes you out. So just make a simple math. These are 15-minute candles. So 4 times 15 is 1 hour, sorry. 1 hour, so there's 4 of these each quarter. Boom, boom, boom. There's 4 of them. So yeah, you got 1 hour there. All right, so that's nice. So let's go keep the example here with the plumber and what we were talking about investing. So $1,000 invested here. You would have made $1,650 if in 1 hour. So if you're saying, well, let's compare back to that plumber. So let's take the 1,650 and let's divide it by the 8-hour day. You're making $206 for that day in profit. So however you want to look at it, I'm just trying to make it make sense when I've been talking about this stuff in the past. Hopefully that kind of analogies kind of help you understand, like, that's a business, and that's what you're running your business like. Now you can see there's other trades that we took in this opportunity, and there's reasons why you could have taken more of these trades. But the point is this, like, if you just did this every day and you walked away, like, that's the point. You can see there's other opportunities that I was pointing out. We could get into that's more advanced kind of knowledge, but we're keeping the system very simple. You got in when it broke down, you got the 15-minute candle closed. The next candle is the one you want to take an entry on. Very simple, clean, and quick movement. That's why I'm moving my stop up. I'm not asking for it to go very far, because if you did that, you would have had to wait till it got all the way over here, which is around 12:30. You took the trade around 9 o'clock. That's like 3+ hours that you were sitting in this trade. So it's still a good run. I mean, if you really took it that far down and happened to go to target 3, you wouldn't have got taken out, right? If you went a little bit past the support here or went down to support, you kind of had to make that call. But let's just say you went down there. That's 2.36. Again, going back to that example of $1,000, that's $2,360 return on that. Now, a lot of people would be happy, maybe do 2 or 3 trades. You always want to keep it easy on this. And the reason why I say be careful is because you can see this ran down here, but look how fast it's recovered. And now we're already back up here. At the end of the day here, we're rounding up the day, almost back where the energy kicked in. And if it gets up a little higher, you're almost back to where you started the day. So this is why I say you don't really want to take your money, grow your business. Nobody's going to walk into a house, going with that plumber and example we keep talking about. You're not going to walk in the house as a plumber and say, hey, you know what? I could charge more money for this job, and this guy would pay me. He looks like he has more money in his pockets. I could charge an extra $3,000 on this job, and that might work once, twice, but ultimately, it's going to hurt your reputation. It's going to hurt your reviews. It's going to hurt your business, right? So the guy that's a smart guy is always offering a good deal, offer a good product, offer a good service, and he's taking the small wins and going and looking for the next opportunity the next day. That's how you want to trade too. This is what's going to grow your account. If you grow your account by 1,000 or 2,000 a day, whatever you're investing is what you're going to get back. I'm just using this examples here. But think about it, right? If you did 1,000 or 2,000 a day, and we're still only trading when it gives us opportunity. So you might only trade maybe once or twice a week, sometimes maybe 3. Again, you're 4,000 or 5,000 a week. So that's not a bad deal. But think of it that way. But now the guy that sits around and tries to hold this, maybe you will say, hey, I want this to go all the way down here. And this comes right here like it does, and then this is reversed right back up against you. That could easily have happened. You actually see this happen more often than not. To be truthful, when you trade, you're better off to take the quick profits and grow your account tomorrow, or look for opportunities where you could get back in and trade it further and get yourself a little more advanced trading. That would be smarter than have this attitude of trying to get these long runs, because it's frustrating to sit in a trade, have it come back up, start to trade down, and then skyrocket on you, and you're like, man, I could have just got out, made my money, and I would have been happy. And you start looking back over the last couple of weeks of that loss, then you start getting frustrated, but you're not really running a business anymore. You're that greedy plumber out there that's overcharging everybody, trying to make more money on each job, and that's going to catch up with you. Same thing with trading. So let's keep ourselves in a business mindset as you're trading. Find the system, have the rules, stick to it, do it day in and day out, and you will create what you're looking for in the space. So Crypto.com gets all the levels. It makes it easy, creates the system for you. We have indicators that you just paste this stuff into. It might look messy on the charts when you're looking at what I'm talking to you, but we do break it down. We even have videos on the website as well that break a lot of this down. And you have videos like we're constantly pasting on the channel all the time, and lives. So we are always trying to help out as much as we can. So come and ask and talk and hang out. So we are here for you to help you out, because you want to make it simple. You don't want to have to live here, and you don't want to have to become a mastermind in this at all. That's about it. I'll go ahead and leave you guys with it. Thanks for hanging out with me and going through some of the price action, looking at some of the levels here, and looking at what went through this 15-minute chart. One thing nice is we did see a pretty strong bounce through this key core area. We're already back up into this zone. You see these white lines on here. Let's go out to like your 1 hour and crunch this down a little bit so it's not quite as noisy on the zoomed in area that we were looking at on the trade today. But really, in the end of the day, you were down here, you wicked up, made a nice kind of a sideways downward pattern. Now we found kind of that key area, which was important. It's about halfway of this current move. Also, it was in the major support like we've been talking about. We're already building back up, and now it's breaking out of this channel that we were already in. Perfect. More than likely, it looks like it'll probably come up and break up against this. I'm hoping, right? When I use the word hope, I'm hoping because I already know what I'm thinking. I know what I needed to do. So when I say hope, I mean I hope it comes back in here so we can get ourselves a nice trade and rip it all the way up to this, basically 75,000. That's what I'm hoping for, because I'm not using hope like I don't know. I'm using hope because we're forward thinking, and I want the best trade entry. Now, if it starts to grind up here and break out, that's exactly what it needs to be doing. It could come in here and trade sideways. Once it breaks out of this line, we know it's going to be ready to run, and that's what we're looking at for a target regardless. But I want to have it pull back and get the best entry, and that's definitely a probability right now that this could play out that way, especially on the 1 hour. This 200 could come down and push price action like we already saw this morning. Tried to break it. We got rejected here, came back down. Now it's rebuilding. Everything's getting underneath of this. This could easily grind down, get above it. I'm hoping that it gives us a chance tomorrow. And on our live, we could see this push and grind on up and become a really good opportunity. So painting the picture for you for that. You can see the 4 hours just continue to get more cleaner. Look, it just runs up, comes down, comes back up. Let's see if it breaks back up. Test this core area right here, right? Starts to build it out. You can see it's actually a bigger type pattern here. You could look at this as like a cup and a handle. However you want to draw your patterns on here. I've already talked about the core levels and pointed that out for you. So hopefully that paints a pretty good picture of what we're doing. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and leave it. I know I said that already, but this is truly a goodbye to you. We'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe. Put comments if you have any questions. I would love to hear what you have to say as well. And let's get trading. All right, guys. See you later.